All right, so get this. We're diving into a story today about King Charles. And it has everyone, like royal watchers and climate activists, totally puzzled.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher for sure.
Because, he's always been so into the environment, right?
Right.
But now he's making this choice that seems, well, kind of off-brand for him.
Yeah, I hear what you mean.
It's about this big climate change conference, COP29, the one the UN puts on every year.
Huge event.
And he's decided to skip it.
Which, knowing his track record, is definitely unexpected.
Totally. This is a guy who gave this whole passionate speech at COP28 just last year, urging everyone to, step up their game on climate action.
Exactly. So for him to just bow out now,
Yeah.
it's definitely raising some eyebrows.
For sure. Now, they're saying officially it's because he needs to recover from his trip to Australia and Samoa.
Right. That's the official line.
But, and here's the thing, COP29 doesn't even start until November 11th,
Okay.
which is weeks after he's supposed to be back from Oceania.
So that timeline's a little suspect.
It makes you wonder, right?
It does.
Especially with this other news that just dropped about his health.
Oh, right. The cancer diagnosis.
Yeah. They haven't said exactly what's going on, but we know he's getting treatment.
And that definitely adds another layer to all of this.
Totally.
Because for him to skip such a major event, knowing how passionate he is about the environment,
Right.
it kind of makes you think his health might be more serious than they're letting on.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that even with all the privilege in the world, life can still throw you a curveball.
It can.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you realize that this whole situation is about way more than just a scheduling conflict.
Exactly. And speaking of schedules, his Australia tour is still happening, though they've had to tweak it a bit for his health.
Wow, so he's still going. That's quite a testament to his dedication.
It is, but let's not forget, even with adjustments, it's still a 6,000-mile trip.
And he's going through cancer treatment.
Yeah, it's got to be grueling.
No kidding.
And get this, apparently he's actually going to be pausing his treatment for that whole 11-day trip.
Whoa, really? You're kidding?
Yep.
That's a big deal. You don't just pause cancer treatment lightly.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder about the conversations happening behind the scenes, right? Like, what factors are they even considering when making these decisions? And what does this all mean for his environmental work in the long run?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because this isn't just about one speech or one event. It's about his ability to lead on this issue for, well, who knows how long.
Absolutely. And I think to really understand what's going on here, we need to dig a little deeper.
Okay, I'm game. Let's do it. It's interesting, because this whole situation with COP29, it isn't just some isolated incident. It's directly connected to King Charles's deeper commitment to environmentalism, which, as we know, he's been vocal about for decades.
Absolutely. This is a pattern we've seen throughout his life, even before ascending to the throne. He's been a patron of environmental charities, spoken at countless summits, like the one he's now skipping, and even implemented sustainable practices on royal estates. So this isn't just about a single event, it's about his legacy.
And it makes you wonder, how does this choice, this balancing act of health and duty, impact that legacy? Does it tarnish his image as a climate advocate if he's not physically present at these global gatherings?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But it's also worth considering that his presence at COP28 last year, where he literally addressed the world about climate change's urgency, carries a lot of weight. One could argue that his absence this year, given the circumstances, might be even more impactful.
Almost like a silent reminder of the human cost of these global issues.
Exactly. It puts a face to the struggle, demonstrates that even world leaders aren't immune to the realities of health crises. This could resonate with people on a personal level, make them pay even more attention.
Especially since, and this is where it gets even more intriguing, there's been buzz about Queen Camilla's feelings on all of this. Apparently, our sources suggest she's relieved he's not going directly from the Australia tour to COP29.
Interesting. Now, on the surface, that might seem like purely a concerned spouse, worried about his health. And while that's undoubtedly a factor, I think there's more at play here.
Okay, so spill the tea. What else could be factoring into her relief?
Well, consider the optics. Imagine the headlines. King skips climate summit after luxurious royal tour. Even if untrue, that narrative could easily take hold and undermine his message.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in today's world of social media where things get amplified so quickly.
Precisely. And let's not forget the demanding nature of COP itself. It's not just about showing up. It's intense negotiations, back-to-back meetings, public appearances. Even without health concerns, it's a whirlwind.
So Queen Camilla could be looking at the bigger picture here, understanding the potential pitfalls and trying to protect both his health and his image.
Exactly. It's a delicate balancing act. And her reported reaction suggests a keen awareness of the stakes involved. And it brings us back to that central question. Can King Charles effectively balance his royal duties, personal health, and commitment to climate action?
Right, because at the end of the day, it's not just about one speech or one summit. It's about his ability to be a leader on this issue in a way that's sustainable for the long haul.
Absolutely. And that requires a nuanced understanding of his limitations, the pressures he faces, and the evolving nature of leadership itself.
So, it's clear that this whole COP29 thing, it's not as simple as it might seem on the surface.
Not at all. There's a lot more to unpack here.
Yeah, for sure. We're talking about a decision that's making waves politically, personally, you name it.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about what leadership means, especially when someone's facing a tough situation like this.
Right, exactly. It's like we've talked about King Charles's dedication to environmental stuff, his sense of duty, all that. But then you have this whole other side of it with his health, the Queen's concerns, the bigger picture.
It's almost like a microcosm of what we're grappling with globally. We have someone who's devoted himself to this cause, but then life throws a curveball.
And it makes you wonder, how does someone like the king, someone so steeped in tradition, navigate those curveballs?
It's a really interesting question,
Right.
especially with the monarchy, where tradition is so central.
Right. It's like this constant push and pull between holding on to the old ways and adapting to a world that's constantly changing.
Exactly. And this situation with King Charles is like a case study in that tension.
And it's not just about tradition either, right? It's about how we view leadership in general.
I see what you mean.
We're used to leaders who seem invincible, right? Always strong, never showing weakness.
Yeah, like they're supposed to have it all figured out.
Exactly. But what happens when that image cracks a little? When we see them being human, dealing with the same limitations as the rest of us?
It challenges our expectations, that's for sure. But it also opens up a different perspective on leadership, doesn't it?
Totally. It's like King Charles could have easily just powered through, pretended everything was fine, but choosing to prioritize his health while still trying to fulfill his duties. That's a powerful statement in itself.
It is. It shows that leadership isn't about never faltering. It's about being adaptable, resilient, and being honest about the struggles.
And maybe, just maybe, that kind of honesty is what people need to see.
It's a good point, because it shows that even those in power are facing these same challenges and makes them more relatable.
So where does this all leave King Charles and his environmental work? Will he keep speaking out, or will he have to take a step back? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We will. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on, because how
Yeah.
he handles this moving forward could shape how other leaders approach these kinds of issues.
Absolutely. Well, this has been quite a deep dive, wouldn't you say? It's amazing how much there is to uncover when you really start peeling back the layers of a story like this.
I completely agree. It's a reminder that things are rarely as simple as they appear.
That's for sure. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder all the complexities we've uncovered today. Until next time, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.